Hi everyone, I'm Jill from Copycat Crafts by Jill, and I'm back tonight with a, I think, a very beginner friendly little project. You can obviously do little ads on to make it a little bit more custom, and that makes it a little bit more challenging, but otherwise it's actually a super easy, I think, fun project. These are a couple that I've made and for the most part finished. I may still do a little bit more in them, so I'll just show you what they look like. It's a small pocket over here. I did put some paper in it, but you don't have to. And then a larger pocket over here. It's one large pocket, but I just put two little tags in it. And the closure is just a piece of twine or string. And I like to use it. I think it's simple. You just put the shorter one up front, take the longer one. Did I just do that backwards? Yep. You put the shorter one up front and wrap the longer one behind, and then you just tie it in a bow. What I think makes this one a little bit unique is that you leave the front of it a little bit shorter and the back cover a little bit longer, and you can really make it look all different ways. You can put the bigger, wider pocket in the front if you wish, and the smaller one in the back. I think I did that with one of mine, but I don't quite remember. I made quite a few. If you hear all kinds of noise in the background, it is the 4th of July. Happy 4th of July to anyone who celebrates it. And those are fireworks. I've been trying twice so far this evening to film this video, and the fireworks were amazing but completely distracting from the video, so I had to stop twice. And I actually started quite early this morning when my head bumped my phone, knocking it off the stand, and so I had to start over and get rid of that one as well. So let's just hope the fourth or fifth time here is the charm, and so far it is. Okay, back to these. These are two more. This one has the same kind of closure, only with a little piece of ribbon type thing. And I made the closure, instead of a hole, the slit. This one I put two pockets, three pockets on the cover. Three pockets on the cover. Well, actually, I guess this one's a tuck. This one's a pocket, and this is a pocket. And this is the one, okay, the bigger pocket over here. I didn't put anything in them. And the paper and the smaller pocket. That's front and back. Now, what I did here is, on this one, I just sewed, there is no spine, I just sewed some paper in it. If you don't want to sew, you don't even have to put paper in it. I just did for whatever reason. But you really don't have to put paper in it. But then I thought, because I had my brads sitting on my desk, and I thought, well, what if I make a tiny spine and put the brads in it to hold the paper in for anyone who doesn't want to sew. So I tried that, and I didn't make the spine quite wide enough. I think that's like an 1/8. So on my next one, I made it a hair more. I think it's closer to a hair more. I think that's the scientific measurement. And on this one also, I have a pocket there with two little things and a pocket here. This one, the closure is a little different. I just put a piece of ephemera, and I used the Velcro closures, which I use them any chance I can because I happen to love them. And these are the tiny Velcro closures. They look like this. This is the top and bottom. So there's one clearer side and one white side. The clear side is the rougher side. On these, I guess it really doesn't matter. I put the clearer side over here. I felt it would be seen less than the white side over here. But I love these little closures. So if you don't have them, I get them at Walmart in the sewing section. They sell a pack of them. Let me see if I have a whole pack to show you what they look like. I do, and I had got it on clearance. So you get 56 for $3.97. I don't know why these are on clearance, but I got them on clearance. So that's what I use. Okay, but you can use anything you want. I just think these are quick and easy. So I made this one, and I don't want to go any bigger with the spine, although you could. So I ended up playing with the measurements quite a bit and confused myself. So back to the easy peasy one, which is the one with no spine. That is super easy. I'm gonna also tell you what all I used. Each one of these are made from a 6x12 cardstock from Tim Holtz. So I had 3 12x12 pieces of paper, well, cardstock, and I cut them in half. You could cut them in half any way you want, but keep in mind, since they're going to be folded like this, you're not going to want your words upside down or, you know, whatever. So if you don't have directional paper, it doesn't matter, but if you do have directional paper and it bothers you to have it upside down, you want to mind that when you trim your paper. So you take one 12x12 sheet and cut it in half. Now you can make 2. And if you make them with no spine, what was one? This one, the brown one. So I'll make, oh, that's the same one. I was going to make a different one. Nope, music. Okay. So you're going to need a scoreboard unless you can know what you're doing with folding. If you're a good folder, well, perhaps you can just wing it in folding. Let me make sure I see out of frame here. Before I start that, I just wanted to also show you, because I did have such a start on this project many times. I did make another one, and I did, which I'll go through the steps, but I did already ink, and I put my notch in it, and I did that one. I did this one. I didn't glue the pockets down. Figured I could do that with use. And here is one with the spine, and I did not glue the pockets down yet. And I put the holes in the paper. I'm just not too sure that I didn't do it too early, and now I've lost the now it's gonna be a fight, a little wrestling now to get the brads. I'm using just these little tiny brads. I prefer the ones with the littler legs or ends on them, but I do have some of the bigger ones, as long as they're skinny and mini and fit on the spine. The head of these fit on the spine. They'll work, and so it doesn't really matter what size. You just can't use the regular big ones. Can't use them. So let's see. You're going to need, obviously, your glue, and we're going to need a scoring, perhaps a scissors, maybe a pencil. So we'll dig out one of them. Pencil. You can round corners if you want. I don't believe I did, but you may want to. And over here I think I have my circle punch to make the notches. So if you want to make notches, you'll need a circle punch. Also, if you're going to make the one with the eyelet, you may want a small hole punch, or your pokey tool, whatever my pokey tool is, or a pokey tool to make holes. We can decide. Also, on the one I showed you, this is the punch I use that has that long oval looking thing. So if you have one of them, you may want to try one of them. But we'll just get started. We're going to dig right in, and you will see. We're going to make one without a spine, so because those are the easiest, and I would like to start with the easiest in case someone doesn't want to go right in with making the spine and the brads and all that. So the no spine is, you want to put it on your scoring board, and you're going to score. Your first score is at 1.5 inch. Just trying to line it up. So you want to score at 1.5 inch. So let's do that. I'm an aggressive scorer. If you're an aggressive scorer and you find that you rip your paper, we run for the washi tape. Washi tape to a crafter is like duct tape to your husband. So no shame and no judgment. Okay, 1.5. Then we want to go to 5 1/4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1/4. So hope I wrote all these down right. And then you want to go to 9 1/2. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, did I say 9 1/2? I did. Okay. Oh, lucky I have a bunch that aren't messed up. Okay, so I'll go through it again. 1 1/2 and score. Then go to 5 1/4 and score. And then 9 1/2 and score. Now, truth be in the mix. Let's see what that gave us. Who was it? I think it was Julie who just said if you should do that, you can get out your bone folder. Was it Julia? I think so. And just lightly press on where you scored, where you shouldn't have. Now, this isn't really going to show because there's a pocket that's going to cover it on the inside. So if you just sort of push the score mark down from the opposite side, it helps to hide it. No harm, no foul. There we go. Okay, not too bad, especially since this is going to get folded up. Might as well leave the score mark. Also, because I'm not known to cut, trim, or fold my papers to the exact, I have to incorporate one of these guillotine, because if I don't and the edges stick out, I need to trim up. So keep that in mind. It's not the end of the world. You can also use your scissors if it doesn't line up perfect. No worries. No worries. Okay. Then you want to do your fold, and you should have the back longer than the front. There you have it. Now, if you want to ink, now's the time to ink. It is also the time to put your notches in. This paper punch will not allow me to to do 2 pieces of cardstock at one time. But if you have a good, really good one, you can put them together. Don't crease anything. Just put these together even Steven, and put your notch in both of them at the same time. That way they're the same size in the same spot. This won't do that. So I'm just gonna wing it. This one's bigger, so I'm just gonna not worry. And then over here, I'm gonna do a little bit smaller one. Good enough. And you can do some inking if you ink. I did 3 and did not ink them, and when I tried to do the video before, make the video, film the video, I ended up inking all of them. And of course, if they're glued down and you didn't ink this edge, I just always take a piece of paper like that and then ink the edge. It's not the end of the world, but if you're as addicted to inking as I am, you already know that trick. So I also like to definitely ink any of the score lines. I just feel that really gives it an agey look. But I also understand if you make this with some really cute, pretty, delicate papers, you don't want it to look like you drug it home in the mud. So you would not really want to ink, at least not with brown or anything neutral. This is walnut stain. I do have others. I just always grab the walnut stain. I can see I'll probably have to trim. Oh, maybe not. It just depends how you, maybe. So once you're done inking, and I think, and here's the most important part, because the rest can get done, can get inked whenever, really. If you're going to want to put some paper in it, I suggest I just sew with my sewing machine, but you can also do the 3-hole and string or wax. Let me get this out of our way. But for me, it's just quicker and easier. Okay, so now we have this. I can finish inking later. We're going to glue, because I also want to get on to making the one with a spine. So we're going to just glue, put a thin little strip there and a thin strip here. My glue is quite watery because it's been so warm. So just have to put up with it, because I'm sure if you live in a state where the winters are really cold, your glue gets quite thick. But I do not. And they're still working on the dam outside, and I made another update video, but I just didn't post it. I've been having trouble with my phone, and I had to go through and delete a whole bunch of stuff because it kept saying that I had no storage room left, and I'm not a techie person at all, so just that process alone can throw me into a tither. So that took me a while, so I've been Just trying to clean out my phone so that I don't have that issue all the time. Okay, so there you have it. Now we're going to pick a closure, and I did put some over here just to show. I don't know if you noticed with mine, but even though my measurements are pretty much the same, this this ends up always being a little different. Some are wider, some are much thinner. If you have a wide one, that's the time to use perhaps that one's obviously too close to the same color for me, but much like a wider or bigger whatever you're going to use. You can use it big, which is something like this was quite big. So I did dig out my bag in case I wanted to redo that or make another one, and I don't think I have another one that big. I don't think our one's that big. This is my well, dang, it did make a liar out of me. Okay, so I'm not really, what is that? I'm just trying to see what kind of fits in. But I do have this type of long one. I have a bunch of those. You can use whatever closure though, whatever pull or whatever you want to call them. You can use whatever strikes your fancy. I'm just pulling out a couple. I like to have choices, and then when I have choices, then I just confuse myself. Now, because this is my short, yep, I'm making sure my writing's the right way. If this would have been on the long side, I could have actually done something like this. But I really don't want the part to stick too far, maybe not at all, or not too far out and over, where this one now would. Now I could trim it, but just not feeling that. So I'll just grab one of these and call it a day. Okay, so I like to overhang it, but you don't have to. You could put it right there. You could even put the closure on the back. It really is up to you. You could put it here, you could put it over here, and then put your hole in here and do the closure that way. I like to put it on the front. I think it helps kick off the decorating of the front. It helps to give it a little bit of a feel. Let me get out my glue and just glue, give or take here a little bit. Get some glue on it. Also gonna just run a tiny bit right there, just about the size of that way, depending on where this lands. I did get glue on it. Give that a second. It is pretty runny, so I'm just going to give it a little second. And there it is. Now you can punch a hole. You can punch, you don't have to punch a hole. You could do any type of closure you want. And since I do have such a wide thing, I hear you hear them. Somebody is proud. Okay, just dirty that up a little bit. And with a stick, yes, they are hard to find. Okay, so I said I wanted the white on this side, and I think I want it in basically the center, about, give or take, no measuring. Gonna open it. We're gonna pull off the back, and we're gonna close it. Just give it a press and just hold it for a couple seconds and then open it. There it is. There it is, ready for you to decorate any way you want. Now, if you are the type to want your corners, I'm not, you would have to know that ahead of time, even because you would probably still want to be able to glue the corner. So if you cut it off now, you'd have to put glue in there. But I think they're cute enough as is. You don't need 6x6 paper. You can use any size paper you want, obviously, as long as it's longer than it is higher. And then none of the measurements I'm giving you will work. You have to rework the measurements, but it's certainly easy enough, especially if you're not putting a spine in. If you're just doing the 2 pockets, that's easy enough. All right, we're going to do this one, and we're going to do it with a spine. So let me push this stuff out of the way. And even though the spine one may look a little harder, it's really not. It's 1 extra score, so that's all we have to do. One extra score. So let me get my score paper out here. Okay. So, and they're still mostly the same. So if you still want your big pocket, small pocket over here, you score at 1.5 over here. 1.5. So scoring at 1.5. Then you want to go to 5.5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. Score at 5.5. Then we're going to go to 5 3/4, because that is going to be our 1/4 inch spine. So 5.5 and then 5 3/4. Then we move up to 10. So this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that should give you, it gives you a smaller pocket. I hope I just did that right. I just did it right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So because we ate up more room here with the spine, it ends up taking away from the pocket, which is just as good. I'm fine with that. I don't need a super deep pocket for anything. Okay, so now we're just going to fold our edges in. Maybe I should have did this one inside out, outside in. Just going to give them a good whoop. Okay, just gonna fold that. Gentle. To remind myself, be gentle. Okay. Whoop. Score that. Making a little noise there. Oh. There we go. Okay, again, if this is what, oh, holding it wrong, and the spine is what pulls it short. There's the spine. So if you're going to, again, if you're going to ink, now's the time to ink. So I'm just going to do the ends here, because once they're glued down, it makes them a little harder. So I'm just going to do those. I'm also going to cut out the notch. So maybe I will use this one just for something different. So we'll do this one. Whoop. Not really looking for center. Not really all that. Okay, got our notches. Okay, now, before I finish, really, I wonder if I should do it that way. Since I have so many with stripes, I'm going to do mine this way. So, that's just making an executive decision here and turning it this way. How did I get glitter on me? Well, it is the 4th of July. Okay, I guess I gotta re-bend those a little bit. Give them a quick little mark. And I'm gonna glue those down right now. Glue these down, and then I'm going to show you how I guesstimate the holes. That's how I roll. And I'm making, I would call this more for Happy Mail or ephemera for inside a journal or something. Not that you couldn't make it more substantial, but it's just a quick, fun thing. Like, really, you can sit and mass make these. Get 2 out of every 12 by 12, and if you use some other size paper, you can make much smaller ones. Oh, I didn't hold it long enough. Make much smaller ones. Really little ones. Just gonna put this away. So. Okay. Alright, let me get my little hole punch. Okay. I don't know, is that the hole punch I'm going to use? I had a smaller one. Yes, this one's quite smaller. I'll show you what size hole it makes, because I don't think it says anywhere on here. Alright, I'm turning it this way so I can hopefully see what a little bit better what I'm doing. I'm gonna just move it down, I don't know, an inch maybe. That's the hole. So these are pretty tiny holes. Oh, I'm gonna pierce his ear. Well, I'm sure his wife would tell us it wouldn't matter. He doesn't use his ear anyway. Alright, then for the center, I guesstimate. You can measure it out. I'm just going to put a little hole here. And you don't have to worry if it's smaller than the other two, because when you go to put your paper in, when you pierce through it, it automatically makes it bigger. But that's going to bring me to this one. There's paper. Let's see let me close the glue first. Let me put the brads in this one to see if it shifted too much. I'll pick these bright ones so that you can maybe see better. They have to go in through the, that's not bright, I thought that was, that's where I start to struggle a little bit. Oh, there it is. Went through, so this one didn't shift, too bad. So you just want to make it so that the legs go along the spine, because if they're going outwards, it doesn't want to close. So we're going to just keep going. Just put them in through the back. All right, I don't know why I'm having a bit of difficulty. Oh, I do. Do sort of have a issue with small things. Okay, Okay, just, and I'm not putting them down as hard. I can do that once they're all in. But this does make it easy. You can undo these to take out paper, to add paper, to change the paper. So I thought it was just a cute idea, and it really just came about because I had these sitting on my desk because I made paper keeper books, and I wanted to add in photo holder type pages, and I ended up using the big ones. I think that even really looks nice as far as I guess I can take these off now. Put these in the thing. Okay, just gonna fold it, get the spine, the spine straightened out a little bit, get it where we need it to be. Now we're gonna glue the pages down. Pockets down. Excuse me, sorry. A short showed up on my phone of people talking about Gen X and all that type of thing, and I'm not really up on that, so I was like, what? They were talking about Gen X adults now, what their childhood was like, and how they're the toughest and all that. So that made me think, well then what am I? Where do I fit in? Well, I happen to fall into the baby boomer. So I thought, well, that doesn't sound like me, but whatever. So I look up, well, what does that mean? And when I read the description of the timeline, supposedly this was like a, I don't know, psychologist, psychiatrist, scientist of some sort, doctor, scientist who did decades and decades of study, and then they just kind of decided where the birthdays end and start as to where you fit into the classifications. I'm a baby boomer. I was born 1962. So I was right in the last, because it ends at 1965. So I was 3, years old when baby boomers ended. And Gen X were started to be born. But I can assure myself that I was raised like Gen X. I was not raised like a baby boomer. I was raised like Gen X. But it made me kind of mad that now I'm a baby boomer, and I'm not a baby boomer. I'm a boomer X. So I decided all of us who are in that 1958, 1968, those right to there in there, I'm starting our own. We're boomer X's. So anyone who wants to join the boomer X movement, give me a comment and tell me you're in, because that's I don't know how I went down that rabbit hole, but there it is. Okay, so now all we want to do is pick I think I'm going to pick this, and I think I'm going to fold it in half. Oh dear, no wait, is that going to... Oh, alright, that's up high enough. So, and it doesn't matter if it's not in total half, because no one's going to be measuring what you have in the front and what you have in the back, right? And if I shoe it off a little bit, maybe even a little bit more, I can then glue it on like that and maybe put one of these on. Let's try that. We're gonna go for that. There we go. Just get it where I want it. Is this the right? Gee, I should have paid more attention. I see it was music. I probably could have picked something more fitting, but just get this where I think I want it. A little hanging off. Okay, now I'll do this side. Shift that a little. I think I shifted it a little. Okay. All right, let's see. I'm hoping this goes through without too much issue. Oh, that's tough. Probably should have did it before I put it on there, huh? All right, let's see. Okay, well, I don't know. Let's give it a whirl. Oh, might have. Oh, I did it. Oh, did it. I did it. Did it come out? Yep. Did it. Okay. I didn't dig out a piece of ribbon or anything, so I'll have to do that. Okay. Okay, so we have both these. Use the Velcro on this one. Maybe I'm just gonna quick do this so it looks a little more rugged. You can see it. They're ready to decorate, and I just think when you do this, like, it adds something to me. But these will fit better if you need to put them in a journal or a lap book, or even send as happy mail. These, the no spine will work better. But if you do have a couple pieces of paper, I think the spine ones look really cute. So I won't bother decorating them, because then if I get up over into about an hour, 45 minutes an hour, it takes like 3 hours to upload the video. So, and it's already late, so I'm just gonna end it there. However, if decorating is also what you really prefer or want to see me do when I make a project, and you really want to see part of the decoration of it, I can do less making. Instead of 2 or 3 or 4 of these, we'll make 1 or 2, and I can sit and decorate, and then you can sit and decorate yours with me. But I sometimes just think, as long as you know how to make the base, I always call the project prior to any decoration the base. Once I show you how to make the base, you certainly are all artistic enough, or you wouldn't be here, right? You can run off and make it in any way you want. So I hope you found this one interesting and beginner friendly, and even intermediate, a little bit more of a challenge if you're going to do the spine. So I hope I kind of worked a balance there. And other than that, happy crafting, happy 4th of July, and hugs.